You would think after getting a cease and desist that would be the end of it. But first, as we went through in the previous part, it was an obviously faked cease and desist. And on top of that, as we discussed in going over the content, it said he or I was not to contact each other, and he immediately contacted me after that. Because I called him out on, obviously, the authenticity of the cease and desist. And so he wanted to continue arguing. And see, dealing with Shaun is like dealing with a little kid, in that they argue and then he'll switch over to trying to be your friend, call it off, and then just it goes around in a circle. So as we're arguing and he's trying to rebuke anything that I'm saying against him, he makes it a point to mention that he didn't know anything about photographers saying that he stole their photos, which is odd because I've definitely told him prior to this multiple times that there was people that were contacting us. But he says, I didn't know about photographers, which honestly, I'm not worried about that. So many photos are on the internet, not watermarked, and was using for promotional use. If I knew who the photographer was, I would have given credit where credit belongs. I've taken live photos of bands myself and had them stolen, so I know how it feels. Regardless of the fact is, I made you director of Strangeland, which he didn't. Once again, we just basically, it's almost like drawing straws out of a hat and making up a title. And I am currently working on a deal with Nicole Eggert for Chiller, which he didn't because she's not a real client and he dropped her, blah, 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 blah. He goes further saying, I actually feel dumb for wishing you luck. We can squash this shit, or you can continue to make fun of everything I do like a kid. I mean, I don't get where I'm making fun of him like a kid. I'm just calling him out on his bullshit. It's like, what's the problem about us both sucking it up and taking it like men and moving on with both of our lives? You quit because of my past. Again, admitting I quit. I never fired you. I have my mother and child to worry about. You should be worrying about your family and your work, not me. And obviously he keeps repeating over and over again, I didn't quit, which is amazing because the cease and desist doesn't say that, and he doesn't say that publicly for the longest time. And every time that he would message me, he would alternate between threatening and trying to suck up to me to get me to drop what I'm doing, what you're watching now, regardless, because then he would message me things like, I don't want things to end like this. Shit, I didn't want you to leave Strangeland. That's all your choice. I don't hate you. I don't wish harm on you. I wish you success in everything you do. I wish you would give me the same decency instead of bringing up a past that is not the person I am anymore, and I have proved it. He literally hasn't proved anything. He keeps bringing up the past. Now, if you've been watching this for all 4 parts, you've seen that I really haven't used anything from his past. Now, there is a Tumblr page dedicated to his past that I haven't even used because the main reason I haven't really used anything on it was because it was old. And while that can establish a motive and a history of things, he has all of these reasons why and quote-unquote alibis to why that stuff isn't legit. And most of it's kind of he said versus they said. And well, I mean, they have screenshots too. But the main reason I didn't use any of that was because he's doing so much now that I didn't have to use anything like that. But as I was talking about the compliments and then threats, he just kept, like I said, he would alternate. He would go between what I just read you to stuff like, you were afraid, you were nothing but a shit starter. Not really. Your form of media is a joke. Well, I've been legitimately approved for press. I have to fake my way into conventions to do media, so I don't know what to say there. I'd mentioned some of the illegal stuff he was doing, like with the photos. He said, call the police. and tell them that lie, stupid fat fuck. Come meet me and we'll see who's a man or not. He's literally wanting me to go meet him somewhere to quote unquote fight. And then it got to the point where threats weren't working, where being, trying to suck up to me wasn't working. So then he starts having all these mysterious ailments. Like in this message, he's like, "Stop it already. Fuck, enough is enough. My mother is in the fucking hospital dying from falling down the stairs. This is the last thing I need to deal with is this shit." And his mother wasn't in the hospital at all. And, to further emphasize the point, when I was, obviously I've been working on these parts for a while, the fact that once he found out that I have a plan to go public with this, there's things in the works, the very next day he suddenly announces that he has cancer. So it's just one of those cases where literally he's just consistently trying to take the heat off himself and do anything he can to basically control the story. Because see, at this point, now that I come out with this and he quote unquote has cancer, it makes me look bad because I'm going after some guy that has cancer. And personally, that annoys me even more, because of the fact that I've lost a mom to cancer, I've lost a grandfather to cancer. Cancer's nothing to fake. And I've been getting messages from people who know the whole medical, information about cancer, and everything he's saying is completely false. So it's like he can't even commit. Like, he does the base research, says, okay, I have stage 4 of this cancer or that cancer, and then like he looks up the side effects, and then he just posts it, and then he doesn't like go just on that information. He starts making up stuff like, oh well, this CBD oil is going to get rid of it. No, it's not at all. So it's one of those cases where it's just one thing after the next, and he just keeps digging deeper and deeper. And it got to a point where in the middle of these arguments, he tries to drag other people in to the argument. It's like I said, these things are just one thing after the next. It's really crazy, because he likes to bring up James Frazier. And he's going to do that in his rebuttal on Facebook as well. And the thing with James Frazier is he likes to harp, oh, well, you're best friends with James Frazier, and I don't see you doing the same thing to him. Here's the thing. For those who don't know, James Frazier is the CEO of Walker Stalker Con. He's one of the creators. And the fact of the matter is, on my podcast with Dave Sheridan, we literally discussed, I discussed my history with FanFest. I discussed my opinions on what's been going on with the conventions, and I stated that, in the end, if anybody can fix what's going on with them, it's James. But at the same point, I didn't give them any leeway into just brushing off what's been going on with them. Like, legitimately, I was fair and balanced, which is personally what I'm doing here with Shaun, because I'm not reporting any false stuff. Here's the record for James Frazier. I've known James Frazier since 2014, but we are far from like really good friends. I've talked to James Frazier this year alone 2 or 3 times, and that's it. I haven't called him on the phone. The only time I've spoken with him over the phone was to do the podcast, when he came on to do interviews. So not this friend, buddy thing that Shaun thinks it is. But throughout all of this, with the faking cancer and everything, Shaun decided he wanted to get ahead of these videos, because he hasn't seen these videos yet, but he wanted to issue a rebuttal which we are about to go through, and it's actually highly hilarious. What he thought was going to be in this video. Some of it he guessed and it was correct, but the fact of the matter is pretty much everything he said in his rebuttal, his public rebuttal, was false, or was a half-truth, or just was, obviously we've illustrated how Shaun likes to approach things, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at exactly what Shaun said, and just go ahead and disprove all this stuff one after the next. Shaun Blair says, and I quote, "Fuck him. I'm not one to say shit about anyone, but this motherfucker is messing with money that goes on my daughter's plate, as well as what I do for a living I worked hard for." I'm not even going to touch that one. "So it's been brought to my attention." Brought to your attention by who? Because it would definitely be from me. About former employee CJ Creech is making a video to blast myself in Strangeland Oddities. Let's go over everything, shall we? Number 1. People who are friends that I help out when I can get gigs. Not everyone on the roster is a full client, and he got upset over an event the person had covered. You mean that event that we talked about earlier where you said you had booked them and you didn't, and then you had me contact them and made me look like an idiot because you lied? Yeah, that one? Okay, gotcha. Number 2, technically I don't have anyone sign a contract, meaning I work directly for them. That's right, you have them sign an NDA, which is stupid. It's hard to sign a contract when the people you're promoting as your clients you've never talked to in your life. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Number 3, Strangeland Oddities is not a registered company. You're damn right it's not. Mainly it's under a different name as DBA that's doing business as. Even so, if it's false or true, you're allowed to work as a private manager or agent. Even so, if it's false or true. So you're saying even if I didn't do anything, is this like an O.J. Simpson defense? Like when he came out with that book about killing Nicole Simpson, if I would have did it, this is how I would have done? So this says nothing about Strangeland Oddities being a real company. This is like, Strangeland Oddities may be a company, but it admits that it's not the name, and I know it's not a name because I actually checked with the Secretary of State, and for a couple $100, I could actually own the name Strangeland Oddities. Now, number 4, Carey Hart does not have any ownership in the company whatsoever. He has nothing to do with my company. It is my company and no one else's. Not that anyone cares about that. Well, nobody does because nobody fucking, only the people that you actually employed and worked with were told the lie that Carey Hart was your fucking president, benefactor, financial backer, whatever. And you've obviously blatantly lied about that, as we've proven throughout this video. He says, I have relationships with 6 different managers and agents with written permission to use their clients for appearances whom I always mention when announced. Now that one's funny. Truth part, yeah. He did wind up getting some legit people from bullshit, the bullshit names that he had in the beginning. He posted on number 6, he claimed I showed his daughter a naked photo of my ex, which is bullshit and disgusting. I was asking Creech directly what he thought it was. Try to frame me as a pedophile, you sick fuck. Okay, here we go. Here's the story of how this happened. So, Sonoya Dead Badge Day, we get up early in the morning, and we decide to have breakfast at Chick-fil-A. Now, if you've ever ate at any restaurant, you know the table, and there's usually 4 seats around here. Now, Shaun was on one side of the table, and I was on the other, right next to my daughter, Lexi, who is 7. And we finished eating. He's like, well, I'm glad you're finished eating, Creech, because I need you to look at this. And, instead of being like, hey, check this out, holding it out of the way of that she can see it, holding it up like this, bringing it over to me and showing, he says, I need you to check this out. Holds the phone up right in front of me where you can see, anybody in this direction could see. My daughter's right here. There's a picture of his naked girlfriend. There's 2 pictures, actually. The first one was of her breasts, and it's covered in measles and hives and everything. And then the second's of her vagina. And I look over, and my daughter is staring directly at it because he's not trying to shield her at all. So yes, he did, in any way you look at it,
he did not try to conceal the naked photos from my daughter, and he straight up showed me and her naked pictures of somebody else that we didn't want to see naked. We didn't need to see naked. But yes, I need to go back into that Chick-fil-A and get the actual security camera footage to prove that. And when I do, there's going to be some other stuff that's going to be dealt with as opposed to doing a video on it. So we're not going to focus on that right now. He says, 7, I had fraud on my credit card and asked him to take care of the website. I forgot about it. My bad. That's now paid in full. That is. Thank you for that $25 8 months after I did it. God. That's not even $1 a day. Like, I can't imagine the time it took you to save the pennies a day just to pay me back 8 months later $25. Number 8, I give him a job at Day of the Dead Atlanta and no interviews or media was provided. First off, on Strangeland Oddities website, we've already discussed this. You've seen all the shit. You know that that's not true. I told him it's not my job to lock down interviews with guests, and even so, I always approached and got work done. Yes, and we also had that text where you said that you would also contact people too. Why should I pay someone for not working? I agreed to pay him $130 for half the hotel to just get him out of my life and move on. Move one, he actually says, but move on.
I will 100% go on record stating that he paid me back for the website, and he paid me half, which isn't all of what he owed.
Number 9, I approached him about Dave Sheridan because I got numerous people saying he wasn't. First off, that sentence makes no sense, and we've discussed this. I even played the card, I talked to Dave. Yeah, you lied. He still cannot provide proof he runs all his social media. Actually, no, I don't. I have access to his Twitter account. I'm an authorized representative of Dave Sheridan to run his Twitter, but Dave Sheridan has 100% access to his Twitter. He has 100% control of what goes on said Twitter. He responds and posts by himself as well. And I don't run his Instagram, and neither of us run his Dave Sheridan official at this point. So that's wrong. We did an event together, the Dead Bash, where media was set for Strangeland Oddities, not Dave and Creech, which he refuses to give the rights over to Strangeland because his excuses was, I didn't pay him, no excuse. Lexi did the interviews, and Lexi was not media. So, and it was filmed with my camera. Technically it wasn't filmed with my camera because you didn't know how to press record, but it was filmed by somebody who gave me permission to use it. So, boom. Number 11, I told Creech numerous times I am new and I will make mistakes. New and make mistakes, and yet you're telling me about your 20 years in the business. I am human, and don't be afraid to call me out. He doesn't call me out until I approached him about Dave Sheridan. Actually, I did call you out, like when you were frauding people out of $260 for cameras. So, yeah, his lack of communication and lack of participation in company meetings, he would know what was going on. That's funny, nobody knew what was going on. There's a lot of employees that still didn't know what was going on. Number 12, he claims I threatened him when he has done nothing but revengeful things as a game to try and ruin my name and first brought up my past. People don't care about my past. Everyone knows about it. Yes, I threatened with legal action, and it still stands. I spoke to the state attorney's office, and they said whether it's false or true, I can definitely file charges. You can file charges. However, when you go to court, it's going to be dependent on facts, and all the facts are on my side, that you are a fraud, and you're frauding everybody. So, yeah, if you want to pay money to go to court and file charges just for them to say, well, shit, he was telling the truth, Shaun, you lose. Then let's go, buddy. Let's call it a date. Number 13, I called James Frazier of Walker Stalker FanFest a fraud. The real fraud. He stands up for him because he's trying to make amends. Still, people never got their money back, and keep in mind he worked for FanFest and good friends with James Frazier. Once again, this part's just funny. He says James Frazier's a real fraud. Here's, like, I've already talked about Walker Stalker on the podcast. I've mentioned everything they're going for. But here's the thing. You want to call James Frazier a fraud? He's been clear with everything that's going on with this company. Recently, he's started to make amends and make up and pay people back and do this and that and the other. What are you doing, Shaun? You have to be forced to pay back money that you try to steal. You don't pay people. You lie and misrepresent celebrities, and you drag other people into it who get, unfortunately, saddled with you. and all the shit that you're doing, because everything you do, all these lies doesn't just fall on you, it falls upon everybody in your company. So, yeah, me and James are cool, but like we're not buddy buddy, we're not best friends. Like I said, I've talked to him twice this year. I haven't seen him since 2016 in person. So this whole thing is just garbage right here. And once again, you're not really admitting that you lied about anything. So you haven't came clean about everything, whereas he has. So at least at that point, he is trying to make amends. Where you're still trying to live a lie for the most part. 14. He says, "I have nothing to hide, which is why I am posting this." And he has a nerve. When the video comes out, I can come on his show and talk about it. Dude, I want nothing to do with you. Actually, this part's true. I actually wanted to just publicly call him out even further and to bring him on the show and let him try to weasel his way out of this and come clean. But, of course, he didn't want to do that because I would be admitting that he was a liar. It says, number 15, "Since you have no life and continue to harass me about coming clean and being honest, you haven't been honest yourself. Stop contacting people I work with." And 4, because it comes right back to me. "I've been doing this since 2000, and even my past, which is much worse, has not ruined me. This won't either. You can post and say all the shit you want, but in the end, it makes you look like an asshole." Well, I'd rather be a truthful asshole than a lying asshole. And the truth be told, most of the people that came to me, I didn't respond, or I didn't actually come to them. They came to me. I sent out to some of your clients and the photographers that you were stealing because they needed to be notified of your fraud. Yes.
After Shaun issued that rebuttal, I guess is the best way, I had a laugh. It was sent to me. I was like, really? He's trying to shirk his responsibilities with everything he's done. And it was around the same time that I had posted just the image. I hadn't released part 1. I hadn't done anything about releasing any information other than that photo with the revealing that Chuck Norris wasn't a client of Strangeland. And it was kind of crazy because going back, like, I started getting tons of messages, like people from every walk of life I've never talked to before, I've never met, were all messaging me. They were friending me. They were wanting to know what I had on Shaun. A lot were providing their own stories, their own evidence, and it just very quickly devolved to, originally, Leaving Strangeland was just about me. But once I started digging and once people started contacting me, I realized it was a way bigger story that we had to tell. Because Shaun's been doing this for years. Like, it's honestly blown my mind how, I guess you could say, in depth and deep this goes, because I thought this was just a base issue, and as we've seen with the photos, as we've seen with a lot of fake celebrities, there's like literally no end. It just, he's just continually frauding, and that's been how it's gone, and that's the things that I've seen and the things that others have seen and the things that's happened to others. It blows my mind. But part 1 was really the first shot that was fired. But once I released part 1, it's like everybody wound up contacting me and letting me know, one, that a lot of people were interested in the story, even people who had no involvement with Shaun, as lucky as they were. I mean, this story, this tale, this event, whatever you want to call it, it's been going on, like I've said, for years, and it's one hell of a story. It really is. Like, going back through all this stuff to put it together to edit, I look at it and I realize just how crazy this story's been. And it doesn't stop. Originally, this was going to be 1 part, and then I had to split it into 2, and then to 3, and now we're on the 4th part, which I'm just cutting it off as the final part. But between that and all of the parts, every every part has had its shocking moments, And this one's not without its own moment, because originally this was going to be a lot longer part, but it really doesn't need it, because at this point we're wrapping up just all that's happened, and I thought that this would just be kind of like a review, a little bit, of what Shaun did, but it's now become so much more, because as I've been putting together this part, last week I got some interesting news, which I'll have to share later. It won't be on this one, but the other main thing that happened was I got from two different people on my friends list. They wanted to contact me, or they were contacting me on behalf of Shaun. It's kind of crazy, because I really didn't want to, I had no interest in talking to Shaun, but he messaged me out of the blue through other people, multiple people, and he had a message for me. He was like, "Listen, Creech, I want to make amends and drop this shit once and for all. I'm going through a lot of health issues and don't need the extra stress. I am making amends because this whole thing is ridiculous, and I hope you read my post on what's going on with me. I understand if you hate me. I don't hate you. You don't have to like me. I have no problem with you. I'm literally fighting for my life as we speak. I know deep down you are a good dude. I know you have a good heart. Unfortunately, I don't have a good liver. If you think I am joking, you are more than welcome to accompany to the oncologist right here in Somerville, so you can see firsthand I'm fighting for my life. I need a liver transplant and have stage 4 cirrhosis of the liver due to past drug use in my 20s from cocaine. I know I did a lot of shit wrong, but I'm trying to make everything right. I'm far from perfect. I caused a lot of drama, and others I haven't." I don't get that part. "You can either accept it or not. It's on you. I always considered you a friend, and I apologize I let you down. I really wish this could have turned out different with us. I truly do. If you still feel the way you do, then go ahead and post that video. I don't care about it at all. I won't even watch nor respond to it. I told everyone what happened, the entire truth. For my family's sake, if something does happen to me, don't post it. I plan on contacting everyone that got caught in the crossfire, past and present, which is almost complete. I ask you, please do the right thing by my family, and let's make amends and squash this, because in the end, honestly, nobody will care or remember, because I'm not a public figure or anything special. I'm just a dead man walking, but again, you're more than welcome to come to the oncologist with me. I encourage you to do so you can hear everything the doctor says about my life. Take care, my friend. Even if you say fuck off and post, I still won't hate you." Well, here we are. I am posting. And honestly, I'm of two minds about this. Like, immediately when he asks he wants me to go to a doctor's, I'm just assuming that he wants me to go there so I can get jumped. So he has something planned. It's sad that I have to think like that, but with Shaun's track record, honestly, that's where my mind goes. But here's the thing: that's not really the craziest part of that, because I wanted to hear what he had to say, so I unblocked him, and honestly, he wound up sending more lies, but he said other things that, for this documentary's sake, are huge. Because here's the thing: we've approached and we've been through a lot of evidence, a lot of events, and while I have the evidence, there's a difference between me compiling lies and me having what you're about to see. Because when Shaun messaged me, he unknowingly gave me the smoking gun, quote unquote, to just completely prove that what I've been saying is true. And it goes against what he revealed publicly and what he's told mostly other people as well. So it's one of those things where, now that we're near the end, I've, quote unquote, as he will say, made accusations against him that could be factually proven, but now can be proven from his own mouth. Let's go over what he said. He starts off by mentioning that I saw your last podcast after Days of the Dead. You did mention Strangeland, and even in the interview with Felissa, you mentioned it again. I never saw it until now. So at that point, as what he said earlier, he's now admitting that I did do work at Days of the Dead, and that he has now seen it. He states that Chuck Norris he got swindled on. I can dig the email up, which he never sent anything back. The email almost was identical to IMDb Pro, and I thought I was dealing with his dude. Sounded really legit, and I saw the Bubba Fest post and contacted his real manager, and he had no idea about that con. I didn't book it. Now, that part is another lie. And the only reason I say that is because he has the actual manager. He had the manager's information on the Strangeland Oddities website. As you'll see right there, he had the actual manager's information, so he knew the right information. So there's no way he contacted the wrong person, yet posted the right info on his website. He brings up the next part, which is great. This is the smoking gun right here. He's like, I spoke to one of the photographers, Lizzie, forgot the last name. The Lizzie he's talking about is Chris Motionless in White. That photo that we've been showing a lot. Remember the one that I contacted and she contacted him? Now, when he admits that he had spoke to this Lizzie, he says, I told exactly what I told you. I found them on Google with no watermark and added mine. I never made money, just used for promo use only, and you passed them off as yours. Was it the right thing? No. All of that was taken down. I should have never done that. So he's admitted it. He's admitted to stealing people's photos, especially Lizzie's. And he admits that he took all the photos down. So he has now officially came clean that none of those photos were his at all, that he's been promoting as his concert photos that he took. Like, whether you use them for promo use or only has no effect on the fact that you literally stole all those photos. He states, Len Lowry, Deborah Lamb, and Eileen Dietz, for example, are not Strangeland clients, but friends where if someone asks for them, I try to get it set up and told them if they ever needed help, I can possibly send someone out. Eileen is always asking me to get her gigs and send them to Chris Rowe, her agent. I should have mentioned that before. I apologize. He states about his employees, I told them all in a group chat about the photos and let them aware you were making a video. I've spoke to one of the employees and they told me that, in fact, that never happened. Also, the fact that some of these people, his current employees, were messaging me asking me to want to see the Strangeland video. Seems like they also didn't believe his lies. And he says the main reason he told them was not just to be honest, but he didn't want them to get caught in any repercussions because of himself. If anyone's going down, it was me, Nick Danger, Dana, and this new guy, Jason, who doesn't care about drama because I was up front. I said this is what's happening. I want you to be aware. There's things I did, and he stopped me and said, I don't care about that. I want to help Strangeland do a 360. It's going to take a lot more than that to do a 360. We wrote a business plan, Privacy Act, job description structure, NDA, etc. I took away a lot of clients for many reasons. You don't need A-listers to make money. Yeah, well, true, but you actually need to also accurately and legitimately rep these people. Here's the thing. He's lost, since I've announced this and since I've revealed information, he's lost clients. And legit clients. He also dropped and announced he was dropping all of basically the fake clients. So he's pushing himself, I guess, more to legit because he's getting rid of all of his fraudulent stuff because of the fallout and what he's expecting from these videos that you're watching. He claims that he helped Entertainment Tonight with the 20-year anniversary of American Pie. He sends this email that he got back from one of the from Rand Iaboni from Entertainment Tonight. And so I actually reached out to Rand and Shaun likes to portray that he, in fact, had this major thing to do with his client, Tara Reid, in the 20th anniversary of American Pie. But the fact of the matter is, I checked with the guy Rand, and all Shaun did was provided some information to get Tara Reid a rental car. So this wasn't some amazing special thing that he helped do. He literally was like a Hertz travel agent for Entertainment Tonight. So it's not that impressive because Rand said that he did most of the work for Tara through Tara's actual personal agent. He states, "I know you know a lot about me from your research, which doesn't bother me because I want you to know the truth. Not everything bad online about me is true. Carrie Hart has absolutely nothing to do with Strangeland." That sounds familiar. "I know I stated differently to you at first. I am credited for the show, and I did do that, but he has no ties to Strangeland in any way, shape, or form." Shocker. "He helped me a while ago before I went to jail, and there was an incident with a kid, which, again, I was in jail. And that was the last time that I talked to Shaun, because I haven't tried to really do anything other than that since then. I've been working on this part for... He's literally admitted that the stuff that he's done was false. He wants to say that he owns the Strangeland name. The fact of the matter is he doesn't. I paid a fee with the money that he sent to pay me back for the hotel to actually file to own the Strangeland name, the trademark, which was open. And all that's left now is a $250 fee to the government, and at that point I will officially own Strangeland Oddities, the name. And at that point, if people are asking me, some people are asking me, are you going to try to make the business legit? And no, I'm not. Because here's the thing, it's already a damaged name brand, and there's nothing left to do but to let that company die and honestly, kind of make it harder, or maybe John's got to start over again.
Since I revealed that I was making this video, at least 2 employees have already quit Strangeland. Some of the legit clients have distanced themselves from Strangeland. He's told his employees that Chuck Norris quit. However, when I revealed that info on Chuck Norris, he said that he quit that day. However, that email that I posted was actually from almost a week prior, and I left it not revealing that immediately because I wanted to prove that he was going to lie, and he did. He told a lie about that. Now he's saying he's not representing anybody other than that. So he's trying to adjust everything to lessen the impact of everything that he's been doing. But at this point, your reputation's already been destroyed. You've lied, you've frauded people, you've scammed people, you've misrepresented, you've not fulfilled your obligations, you've continually lied to your employees, you've basically done everything you could, and you do it multiple times. It's one thing to have done it once, even though some of that stuff is still messed up, you continually do it. Why did I leave Strangeland? It's because I could not work for Shaun Blair because he is a fraud. And everything I've discovered on him is back that up. Because a fraud is somebody who lies, deceives, cons others into doing things, or, getting stuff for their personal benefit. And guess what? That's what Shaun has done many times over in this company. That's not even, I could be owner of Strangeland in a week if I want to. So, Strangeland isn't legit. No matter if he's an agency, he does not own the name. I can't be sued by a company that doesn't exist. I can't be sued... I can be sued for defamation, but I won't lose because I'm speaking nothing but the truth. The facts speak for themselves. I'm not going to... some people, including the person holding this camera, has asked why I'm doing this, and, because I've already quit, and so it really isn't my problem. But my problem with it is actually, I don't want him to do this to other people. I don't want him to fraud and deceive. Actually, one of the people that left recently, I had to talk to, and she's not taking it too well over being lied to. He really got her hopes up high, and he destroyed her, and that's not okay. That's really not okay, and it's not okay to do that to people. And whether he continues or not, I don't care, because this is going to be public record, and anybody who wants to search Strangeland, if he tries to continue, is going to all of his dirty laundry. It's going to be right there, and maybe they'll think twice. This video is also going to be sent to his clients because the ones that he's going to continue repping need to know. He wants to own up for his. He said multiple times when I didn't bring up his past on that he's talking about. His clients need to know this is his past too, and it's still his present. Now, I don't know about you guys. I've been doing this for 2 to 3 hours. I don't know how long this video will actually wind up even turning out, but I'm parched because I've done nothing but have to talk and go over everything that just to encapsulate what a fraud and just a shitty company Strangeland is. And like I said, I use company lightly. And just do your research. Like, if anybody has any questions, like with the pictures or with anything, you can easily verify. Shaun is not the smartest light bulb or brightest light bulb in the drawer. You can do 5 to 10 minutes of research, and you'll start following the breadcrumbs and discovering new lies yourself. So I'm just gonna get ready to wrap this up, and since I'm parched, I'm a little bit thirsty. I feel it's apropos after everything that's been spilled today that I really need to sip some tea, because rest in peace, Strangeland Oddities.